Welcome back to Two Sports Overtime. We've got the whole crew back together. Kayler Smith, Joey DiBardino. We hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving week at home with your families, but also an epic week of sports, like we said it was going to be. And, of course, the headline of all of it was the end of the college football regular season, punctuated by the Buckeyes finally getting the Michigan monkey off of their back and beating that team up north.
About time, right? It's been 2019, the last time that Ohio State beat their rival, and gosh, it came in pretty dominant fashion. It was a shaky start kind of there early on. It was like, oh my God, you're watching that game and you're like, are we gonna, is this really just their kryptonite? Like as of the last half a decade, like can Ohio State just physically not know how to play in this game? Luckily for the Buckeyes, after that, deficit, they were down 6-0, which, by the way, per the graphic on Ohio State, that was their largest deficit of the season. So them losing by not even a full touchdown or an extra point was their largest deficit of the season. They bounced back.
I think the only time it could have been otherwise would have been the Texas game, but
yeah, that was probably as close. They were still
up.
It was still wire to wire probably there. So
it was 14-7, so they had to have led or been tied the whole game.
So big win for them to finally get it off. Julian saying getting over that early interception. And you had that cool, we were texting back and forth, and you mentioned the cool thing about the interceptions.
So something I talked about, if you were tuned into our coverage all week long leading up to the game, was something that all of those 4 games that Ohio State lost in a row had in common was the quarterback threw 2 picks in each of those games. And it was 4 different quarterbacks. It was 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different years, and each of them threw 2 picks. So
that was the difference.
I was like, Julian's saying he's 1 pick away from disaster. Don't throw another one. He didn't. He settled in, and I think they really started playing Ohio State football the way they've been playing it all season. And I think that's kind of been the issue, is sometimes they try to start playing Michigan football in these matchups. So they stuck with their guns, and this was the righteous result, in my opinion. Yeah. And this is what I expected the result to be. This
is what it should have been last year, too, when we talk about the level of Michigan and the level that Ohio State had last year, especially when you have Will Howard, and Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, and you think, how did that team lose? And they did somehow. But they were able to get over the hump, like you mentioned. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, their 2 top wide receivers, were questionable going into Saturday. They played. There's another touchdown there from Brandon Inniss, kind of the 3 wide receiver trio. They were questionable. Huh. Yeah, so Carnell Tate.
Smith said on Monday he was playing.
Officially, they were questionable. But yes, there wasn't heavy doubt. It was like 99%. Because
I was like, yeah, they're playing.
If anybody was more questionable, it was Carnell. Carnell had the ankle, and he was dealing with a bigger issue than.
I mean, look at that. He looked fine.
Yeah, and he looked fine. And Brandon Inniss there scoring that touchdown looked fine as well. So Julian saying 3 touchdowns. Was that enough for Heisman level performance? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if he's moved up in the odds. I think he's still low, but this was a pretty interesting scene too, as we continue to talk about kind of a viral moment. And credit to our partners over at WCMH for getting that great video and sound. You could hear Ryan Day telling Sharon, he said, quote, if we don't want to have a problem, we need to get these guys, Michigan players, out of here off the field, because Michigan was standing on their logo to protect the block M so that Ohio State didn't plant a flag. Well, you don't like people planting flags on your block M, do you? Maybe you shouldn't have done it last year.
It was pretty weak sauce, and if you think about it, that means that there was discussion happening.
If we lose.
Yeah. Which is...
That's a terrible mindset.
It's a bad look.
And it was even better that Ryan Day and his staff were telling, they did have a flag. There was no, stick or post on it, but I think they just were going to wave the flag. Yeah. But the image, what was great was the Ohio State players up on the top of the wall with the Ohio State fans overlooking the Michigan players, kind of looking real silly, standing there. And in that crowd was Herb Street's kid.
I saw
Chase.
it. I saw it live.
Great kid.
It stuck out like a sore thumb.
He gets a lot of hate for obviously going to Michigan and not going to Ohio State. His dad's alma mater, blah, blah, blah. Say what you will. He's a great kid, but it was funny to
funny.
see his nameplate there.
It was funny.
So that was obviously a big story. Obviously, we got to see Brutus X out the M too in the corner of the end zone. So overall, an exciting win for Ohio State. They stay undefeated, 12-0, finally moving past Michigan, essentially also eliminating the Wolverines from likely the playoffs as well. There's no way they'll get in now after that. They are now going on to face number 2 Indiana for the Big Ten championship. I mean, what an exciting showdown. You get the number 1 team in the country, the number 2 team in the country, the top 2 defenses in the country. They're both in the Big Ten, and it's the first time the Big Ten championship has ever featured 2 undefeated teams, which I couldn't believe when I saw that.
Interesting.
I couldn't believe it.
And I think I saw that, like, even their offenses are both top 5 in the country as far as 100%. Scoring. So
their quarterback is also a Heisman contender, Mendoza.
Yeah, in like all of the 3 top categories, each of them were top 5. It was like points per game, opponent points per game, and one other thing similar to that. So this is as evenly matched as it gets. And if you look at their schedules too, neither of them, aside from that Texas game week 1,
right,
and Oregon for Indiana.
Which was a tough game for them.
These 2 teams couldn't be more evenly matched, in my opinion. In fact, I feel like this is really like a playoff game, a pre-playoff game, which is crazy. I don't
could
think
see it happen again too.
I don't think either of them should lose a top 4 seed.
I agree.
I really think that would be.
They've proven they're the top 2 teams in the country. Regardless, you're going to have a winner. You're going to have a loser, right?
For playing in the Big Ten title game,
right?
Because if you look at like A&M or Ole Miss, they're not going to be punished for not playing in the SEC championship, and they're not going to be top 4 seeds.
Right.
But
someone's losing this game.
They're not going to be punished either.
Right.
So, I
could you see
really
a scenario where Indiana moves to 3 if they lose potentially?
Yeah, I think it could be 1-4 or 1-3.
Yeah.
But I do think they both should earn one. I think they've earned it over the course of the season, and I don't really know what to expect out of this game because one of the only like common opponents they had was Penn State, and of course it was a kind of a blowout for Ohio State.
Sure.
And it ended up being a little closer for Indiana, but even still, like, Indiana blew everybody else out of the water. Like, Indiana blew out Illinois way more than Ohio State did.
Yeah.
So, and they both blew out Washington. So, this is like as evenly matched as it gets. And like when it comes to college football, this is the creme de la creme happening right now.
This is what they live for. Couple notes too about that. Buckeyes defense really showing why they are the number 1 team in the country. Michigan's 9 points, fewest against the Buckeyes in 15 years in those 2 meetings. And they held the Wolverines to -8 rushing yards in the second half.
Holy cow.
Pretty good stuff from that Buckeyes defense. And now an exciting Big Ten championship on tap. The Buckeyes back at Lucas Oil Stadium competing for a Big Ten title for the first time since 2020. The last time they were there, they beat Northwestern. And a chance for the Buckeyes to kind of go into a home field advantage type of crowd for the Hoosiers, but obviously Ohio State fans always traveling well. But an exciting showdown between the top teams in the country.
I think it's like pretty equidistant. I'll have to look.
Yeah, because Lafayette's way further west, right?
That's not where Indiana is.
Or not Lafayette. I'm thinking of who's in
Bloomington.
Lafayette? Bloomington. Thank you.
Bloomington
Purdue Lafayette
to Indianapolis is an hour, and it's probably about 3 for Columbus.
Okay,
so
it's pretty close.
Not equidistant. I
in
guess
their
I was
home
off on
state,
that, but Ohio State's going to travel.
Oh yeah,
3 hours. That's nothing.
No, that's nothing for Buckeye fans, and obviously Ryan Day, a ton of jubilation after this one. Rightfully, this has been a long time coming for him, and him sharing what this win meant over Michigan, and now the opportunity to once again play for a Big Ten title.
Just happy for our guys, just to see the smiles on their faces and see the sense of accomplishment. The fact that we were going to play in this game really, really hard for the love of our brother, not, for the hatred of our opponent. That wasn't what it was about. They know how important this is, and this is the number 1 goal of our program. So to get this one checked, and now it gives us an opportunity to get to number 2, and that's in Indianapolis next week, and they were already fired up about that in the locker room.
All right, so there you go. Excitement for the Buckeyes. Looking also coming up this Saturday for Championship Saturday. Miami back into the MAC Championship somehow for the 3rd straight season in a league with a ton of parity. What Chuck Martin's been able to do to get these guys consistently back into the MAC title game is pretty phenomenal.
After losing their quarterback mid-season, too.
DeQuan Finn leaves to get ready for the NFL. Interesting. They go to their backup.
Gotkowski, and he did not.
Freshman.
He did not look like. I mean, if you wouldn't have known. You
Right.
wouldn't have known that he had only made a couple of starts. He looked like he had been the day one starter. He was rolling on Saturday against Ball State.
100%. Big win over Ball State, too. They won by 20-something, right? It was like
Yeah,
45-24, something like that.
Yeah, yep.
So third straight MAC championship appearance. They get to face the league-leading Western Michigan Broncos. They beat Western, though, 27-16 back in Week 10. So do exactly what you did in that game. Looking at the Redhawks' recent history, 2023, they beat Toledo in the MAC championship. Last year, they lost to rival Ohio in a blowout. I think they only managed to get 3 points in that game. 8th overall appearance. So Chuck Martin and the Redhawks headed back to Ford Field. Exciting for them. And that one kicks off at noon in Detroit on Saturday. So an exciting slate of college football coming up that Saturday. Plenty more games to keep an eye on, but those two obviously right here in the Buckeye State will have all of our attention. And then, of course, we're going to be transitioning over to the NFL. Playoffs are just around the corner. What you need to know about Joe Burrow and the Bengals and their long playoff odds, if you can believe that. It's deja vu all over again from last season. More on the Browns as well. All that coming up right here after the break on 2 Sports Overtime.
Welcome back to 2 Sports Overtime. Kayler Smith, Joey DeBaradino. We're going to transition over to talking some NFL because the Bengals are back. Are the Bengals back?
Bengals back.
We don't know
Burrow
yet.
was back. And
Burrow's
it
back.
Looked like
the defense was back. So let's start there.
They do this every year.
Thursday night,
Unbelievable.
Thanksgiving night, Joe Burrow makes his grand return after being out for about 2.5 months, coming back a whole month early from his turf toe injury.
Unbelievable.
And I was part of the crowd that didn't understand why, and they proved me wrong.
His aura is just so amazing.
It's
seeps
wild
into the defense.
Because you would think that they would want to. Joe Flacco was playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
That's what I can't understand.
Up until that last game was kind of rough. But
it was huge. Five turnovers by the Bengals defense. And every time it kept happening, you just kept being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it just happened again.
yeah, the Ravens were shooting themselves in the foot a ton. Lamar was not helping it. I mean, the 2 balls essentially slipping out of his hand.
One got tipped at the line that was intercepted.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
and so
the
that
other
wasn't
one-
really his fault. But
Right.
just
But
wild. And they had only
their
had
presence.
They had only had 5 turnovers the previous 7 games total. And they had 5 Thursday night against Baltimore.
What better time than any to finally find your groove than
I guess so.
week 13? Where are we at?
I guess so.
It was a perfect pairing. We finally got to see this team for the first time. It feels like it all season really play complementary football. The biggest problem with the Bengals all year long was when the offense is doing great, the defense sucks. When the defense is doing great, the offense sucks, or special team, what have you. It was never cohesively coming together in one product on the field, and it was always, they're the biggest problem for them. And we got to see all 3 phases working hand in hand. Burrow looked like he really hadn't missed a step. It sounded like they were going to kind of like ease him into it. 46 attempts passing doesn't seem like easing into it, but
well, you talked about complimentary, like it helped when they kept getting short field after short field.
Right. The Bengals defense made it easy on Burrow, which was perfect. Now we did kind of keep an eye on him with that carbon fiber insert. He was taking it out after taking it off after every single series. I don't know if you saw that slipping on his Jordans. He'd take off his full cleat with the carbon fiber insert to put on comfortable shoes. And that someone later heard from him that it's like the most comfortable thing ever, and he hates it. But it's protecting his foot. So yeah.
So he wears a carbon fiber
like a Dr.
insert
Scholl's
in
into the
his
cleat
shoe
in his
during the drives.
Right. So if it's that insert that's pretty, it's meant to bend a little bit, but pretty stiff, obviously to avoid what happened before with the turf toe of that overextension. Apparently, it's the most uncomfortable thing ever, and there's video of him taking it off on the sideline, putting on his his
Yeah,
his
that
other
sounds
Nike shoes or
terrible.
whatever. So, but hey, whatever it was doing, it worked. That throw to Andre Yosivas, if you see the back angle of that throw, we can't show it to you because of the rights usage, but I encourage you to go watch that. Vintage Burrow, unbelievable elite throw. So good to see him back. You're hoping to see he can build off it. Bengals snapped that 4-game losing streak. They improved to 4-8 now, and there is a path to the playoffs. When we take a look at it, it sounds like they really have to win out. Not 4-1 with the last 5 games, not 3-2. It sounds like you have to win your final 5 games to have
You think so?
that chance.
Even though they play each team in the division once?
From what I've seen, it sounds like that is likely the scenario that happens because of then the 2 following things. If they do go 5-0, they'll have dealt the Ravens a 7th loss, and they'll need Baltimore to lose another game on top of that. I believe Baltimore plays the Steelers one more time, which can happen there.
Who won the first one?
I want to say Pittsburgh won.
So the Ravens will probably win. They always split.
Right. Then they'll
always
need,
split.
Right. Then they'll need Pittsburgh to lose 3 of its final 6 games. That would generate a 3-way tie with the Bengals winning the tiebreaker and the division. So their only path is winning the division. So they need help of the Steelers and the Ravens just losing.
Yeah.
And luckily, the Bengals get to see the Ravens one more time.
They get to see everybody one more time. Not the Steelers, sorry.
Not the Steelers, but they get to see the Ravens.
Yeah. And the Browns.
In this scenario, they'll get to see the Browns. Gosh, they better win that one.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance, right? So it's not impossible. Is it probable? Really hard to say. Really stiff. Just win. Control your destiny. Win, and then go from there.
I remember at the beginning, I was going back and watching some of our earlier stuff from this year.
Yeah.
Last week. And when we initially did our count after Burrow got hurt, we were saying 7 wins. That's easily attainable now, I think.
Yes.
Between even just the last 3 games of the year, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, and the Browns, those 3 are very winnable games, obviously.
Yeah.
But the Bills is going to be tough in Buffalo. They're kind of scorned right now. Buffalo is. But they're also beatable. A very beatable Bills team.
Steelers and Ravens have not yet played. This is their first matchup. They close the season with each other. So they play this week, and then they play in the season finale. So it goes Steelers
I
have
would bet
Ravens,
money that they
Dolphins,
split like they always do.
Yeah, Brian. Steelers' remaining schedule is Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens again. So
You said they need 3 losses?
Steelers need to lose 3 of its final 6 games.
So let's say 1 Ravens, 1 Lions, and what would the other one be?
See them losing to the Browns, maybe. Dolphins, I don't know. They seem like
By
they kind
that
of gotten
logic,
hot.
so could the Bengals.
So could the Bengals. It's tough. It seems almost tougher than last year's path that what the Bengals needed. But it was a scenario where they needed to win out their final games, and they did exactly that. And they gave themselves a chance.
You just have to think how different this conversation would have been with the Jets and Bears games.
Yeah.
Going the
Even
other
without
way.
Burrow, right. Without Burrow. If they just take care of those games until Burrow gets back,
they'd
are
be
sitting
at 5-8.
Correct.
6-8.
6
They'd be
and 8.
sitting at 6-8.
And
How is that right?
A very
How are the Ravens 6-6?
Ravens are 6-6, and so are the Steelers.
Is our math wrong?
On
Yes, okay, because it wouldn't be. They would also be 6
they would
and
also
6.
be 6-6 to be a 3-way.
My
Correct.
math was off.
Yeah, but either way,
It'd be a 3-way tie for
the
6
whole
and
point
6,
is to
and
be a
that would be
3-way
much more
tie.
attainable.
Oh yeah,
And
and
2
it,
games that they should have won.
and it would look like it would be in the Bengals' favor the way they looked against the Ravens, and that's exactly what happened last year too. Burrow and the Bengals got hot at the very end, and no one wanted to have to see them, and it didn't work out the way it did. But they at least controlled their destiny to an extent of winning their final remaining games. So we'll quickly play, before we move on, we'll quickly play Zach Taylor, talking about Burrow's return and then the excitement to play reigning MVP Josh Allen and the Bills in Buffalo. Perhaps what will be a snowy game. The last time they were there for a snowy game was the divisional game 2 seasons ago.
I mean, he's one of the greatest players in the world, and so I think anytime you get a player like that back on the field, absolutely, it whether it's subconsciously or consciously, I mean, it's you're excited to watch that, and you're excited to rally behind that and see where he can take you. It's exciting to know there's still opportunity there, but again, you just have to take it week to week. Us being Baltimore has nothing to do with how we're going to play against Buffalo. So our guys understand that. Stole a day here with the bonus day and got to have a great week. And it's going to be a tough environment to go on the road there. It's always a tough place to play. It's going to be loud. It's going to be cold. Probably going to be windy. And so our guys got to be ready to embrace all that.
What did you learn that day about snow games? You don't get them too often.
You'd have to ask Joe, I think, traction on the ball. I haven't thrown much in snow games. Rain is often the biggest issue. I'd say wind is a big issue. Snow would come in third behind that kind of stuff. So I think he could probably answer that question better, having done it a lot more recently than anybody else. But again, I thought that day, I thought he threw the ball pretty well. And it's never easy circumstances. The wind can always factor into that a little bit, depending on how much that is.
We went back and look at how he played.
All right, so potential for a snowy game in Orchard Park, and all eyes on that one for getting a chance to see, two MVP caliber quarterbacks going head to head, and another must win for the Bengals
and the Bills, really.
Yeah,
So-
because they've been kind of tapering off a little bit here too. AFC has been pretty wild. Aside from the Patriots, they're sitting pretty, and the Broncos too, looking good as well. So
I mean, the Broncos don't look pretty.
the Broncos
But
don't
they
look pretty,
keep
but they
winning.
keep winning somehow. The Patriots look dangerous.
Yes.
Drake May looks every bit an MVP caliber
Every time
quarterback.
that they should have a letdown game or a slip-up
Right.
game, they don't.
They don't. They just keep foot on the gas. So they are leading the AFC for a reason. So Sunday, 1 p.m., Bengals-Bills clash. We'll quickly
Got
just...
flexed, which is unfortunate.
Got flex. You're right. For the Packers and Bears, that's a good note to have. They originally were the 4:25 window, but now you get your Bengals football a little early in your day. There's your positive. So quickly for the Browns, according to almost every report, they are now mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, now at 3-9. Kind of makes sense, assuming their real only path would be to the division. As close as it is, it's too close between the Steelers, Ravens, and then even a little bit the Bengals. So they are now out. They lost to 49ers 26-8. Shedeur Sanders' second start. Not bad again, 16-25, 149 yards, touchdown, no interceptions. Judkins got 23 carries for 91 yards, but just kind of not enough.
That's a rough average.
Yeah, just not enough this year for the Browns. Kind of gonna have to go back to the drawing board again. We'll see if Kevin Stefanski is back next year. A lot of talk about him maybe being out there. He's reigning coach of the year from a couple years ago. So,
But Myles Garrett, he's getting closer. He got his 19th sack of the season.
Right.
He's only 6 away from the single season record.
right. So there you go, Browns fans. You got something to root for individual success in Cleveland, which kind of seems like it has been the way there. So tough loss for the Browns. Switching gears before we quickly wrap up the show, congratulations to the Wright State volleyball team punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in the last 7 seasons. It's the 5th trip overall. They're now going to travel to Purdue, opening round on Thursday. Winner advances to take on Arkansas State and Baylor in the second round Friday. A lot of really cool nuggets about this quickly before we go over. I'm just going to kind of rattle them off. Wright State and Purdue last met in 2019 NCAA championship. Raiders earned their first at-large selection in program history. That was then in 2019. They beat Green Bay to punch their ticket. Maya Aero was named the Horizon League Tournament MVP, and Wright State also earned
In
that.
2019,
Yes.
she's still on the team.
No, I'm sorry. No, tournament MVP. The 2019 championship tournament was the last time Purdue.
Okay, I
And
was
Wright
like,
State.
she's still on the team.
Yeah, no,
That's
no, no.
crazy.
Those are separate
What
bullet-
kind of crazy eligibility does she have?
Those are separate bullet points. Sorry, just trying to rattle these off kind of quick. Wright State also earned an at-large bid in 2019. That was the first at-large bid to an NCAA tournament in Wright State athletics history, where the Raiders ultimately fell to Purdue in the opening round. So a lot of rematch-ish kind of big stage stuff here for them. Wright State entering 21-10 overall, 6-game winning streak. Purdue is 24-6. The 2019 postseason meeting between the Boilermakers and Raiders was the only other meeting in program history. So an
But this
exciting
one
matchup.
wasn't an at-large. This one they earned.
Correct. This one they earned.
Winning the Horizon League.
Winning the Horizon League, and they did it in dominant fashion with that sweep over Green Bay. So there you see them reacting with the trophy. So exciting for them. We're going to be following their NCAA tournament run, and we haven't had a ton of. We lost Dayton women's soccer early on, so hoping to see Wright State volleyball make an exciting deep run, and we'll be following their journey. Hopefully a little bit further this year, beat Purdue. That would be pretty exciting. And, of course, we'll be following Ohio State in Miami. We're going to have a reaction from Kayler and I here next week, talk about how the championship Saturday games fared for them. And then, of course, more Bengals, and can they punch their ticket to the playoffs? That would be pretty wild.
One last shout out before we go.
Go
St.
ahead.
Henry competing
Yes.
in the state
Can't
championship
forget
for
them.
D7 this Saturday in Canton, our lone Miami Valley team.
Good for them.
That's competing in Canton this weekend. They're going for their first, they're competing in their first state championship since '06, but 2, they're competing for their first state championship since '06 as well. So
Awesome.
What a run for them, taking down Marion Local in the process. So we'll see if they
Unbelievable.
can get it done.
Good for them. We're going to be rooting them on as well, and we'll have all the breakdown for you next week right here on 2 Sports Overtime. That's Kayler Smith. I'm Joey DeBaradino. We'll see you right here next week.